Unfortunately, it has come to my attention that the impossible Black Ops 3 Easter egg has been officially debunked by the head Treyarch developers. Now, all of this information is coming from Glitching Queen's video, and apparently she's going to have an interview where she uploads this interview of her and the developers talking about the impossible Easter egg. But essentially, they have leaked that the whole lead that we had with the Hypercube and the KN-44 was nothing but a joke. And this was kind of obvious when you look at Black Ops 4. When that game was being recreated, the KN-44 transformed into the KN-57 and was placed all around the Black Ops 4 marketing promotion, even inside of the official Blood of the Dead poster. And it's just sad that we have found such a cool equation, the community and Skype in it specifically found that K equals 4 and N equals 4 within the Hypercube equation, and it has ultimately amounted to nothing. Now, I do want to reiterate this video as just a standpoint for what we actually know about the impossible Black Ops 3 Easter egg, and all of this is really gonna come from the interviews that Jason Blundell did with various amounts of zombie YouTubers. Now, I do have to say that does this mean that the KN-44 has no actual meaning within the impossible Easter egg? It's not apparently sure, but from what we do know, Jason Blundell said the impossible Easter egg was in many areas to Mr. Raffle Waffles during the DLC 2 Zetsubo no Shima debut, meaning that the impossible Easter egg has to be on Black Ops 3 and even on Shadows of Evil, The Giant, and Horizon Drac. Now, what's interesting is a lot of people, because of the impossible Easter egg, have been now trying to solve the ciphers that are remaining on The Giant, and even Jason Blundell himself has stated that if any of these people have been able to solve these ciphers, they should get a job at Treyarch. Now, that is some of the craziest words that Jason Blundell has said, but it's incredible to know that Jason Blundell also said that the solve of the impossible Easter egg will not be groundbreaking. This is in his own words. Now, I find that very fascinating because it's definitely outside of the game code. Like he said, it's outside of Radiant, and to me, it's definitely more of a symbolism type of Easter egg. Now, I actually want to give you an example that the Treyarch devs have even told me when I went to go out and play Black Ops 3. So, one of the biggest Easter eggs that Shadows of Evil unveiled was the Noir Easter egg. Now, if you know about this Easter egg, all it really does is it changes the way you look at Shadows of Evil through your first-person viewpoint, and it basically makes it so that it's only monochromatic, so black and white as opposed to having color. Now, the way you actually go and activate this side Easter egg is you go to the boxing gym where the portraits of all the Treyarch head devs are, and basically we didn't understand why all you had to do to activate it was to kneel and look up, and you were able to figure out how to have the Noir mode. But basically, when we brought it up to Treyarch, they essentially said they just wanted people to kneel before the devs, and then they will change the filter of the game to black and white, which to me is so funny because in Black Ops 4, we then got a cartoon mode. So this is the type of impossible Easter egg that I think Jason Blundell is really laying on the cards for us. It's nothing to do with the game code. It's something that is staring us in the face in plain sight that is so blatantly obvious that it just would make us laugh if Jason Blundell were to actually specifically say it. Now, what I find interesting is that in Glitching Queen's video, she actually thinks it's related to do with a lot of random titled books scattered across Shadows of Evil, The Giant, and Horizon Drac. And specifically, she thinks one of the books has a massive tie being called John D. Illuminated D. Resurrectionist, which is the actual level 35 rank for Black Ops 3 zombies. Now, apparently this has some sort of relation towards the unsolved ciphers on The Giant, but I want to really reiterate with this video that I do believe the majority of what people are doing with the impossible Black Ops 3 Easter egg, where it's going to the code, where it's looking for random symbols that are missing, or even equating the random patterns that they're seeing on the Hypercube equation, I think that that is too much, because Jason Blundell, even in his own words, said that there were multiple people, even before the launch of Zetsubo no Shima, that got close. So I would encourage anybody who's actually going out to try and figure out the impossible Easter egg to potentially even just check what people were doing before Zetsubo no Shima's launch was. Maybe look for old side Easter eggs. A lot of people uploaded them on like YouTube as old videos or even Reddit videos, and I think that would be probably the best place to look for, because a lot of people at launch, according to Blundell, were incredibly close, but they did not find it. So to me, this is nothing to do with like gameplay mechanics, you know, it's nothing to do with like, oh, the Apothicon servant upgrade that Noah J was looking for so long. No, this is absolutely something to do with the Treyarch developers themselves. This is not the only Easter egg that they put into Shadows of Evil that was related to themselves, like I gave you the example with the Noir Easter egg. So I do believe potentially that Glitching Queen might be right with something to do with all the random books. I mean, these books are scattered in very important places on Shadows of Evil and Horizondrak, like even right where you place the golden rod, all over Shadows of Evil, just as random books hidden with only a title on it. And it's very interesting as well that the KN44 name change happened, and so to me, having random names on these books and being specifically something in place that Blundell would put in, I think definitely has something to do with the impossible Easter egg. So I want to reiterate this though, because Jason Blundell is the main source of how this impossible Easter egg has started, because even Glitching Queen herself has talked to multiple Treyarch developers that have no idea about anything related to do with either the KN44 or the impossible Easter egg. So that is why I want to give people a little bit more of a steer in the right direction, because we should really be listening to Blundell's words specifically and only to do with something with the devs. Like, I think it's going to be a massive joke once people actually crack the impossible Easter egg. Now, I want to also say that this video isn't necessarily disproving the hypercube, because I mean, the hypercube still does not really make sense. I guess in a way that now when we look at it with the Treyarch devs saying that the KN44 was mainly a joke, I just don't know what that means in terms of the hypercube. And so I don't want people to necessarily completely discard it, but I think the focus of the search should definitely be brought back down outside of BO4, outside of all those other games. This is specifically a Black Ops 3 impossible Easter egg. Now, it's interesting because I even talked to Skype in it, one of the original founders of the KN44 equation with the hypercube, and I just genuinely believe that that was some sort of coincidence. I mean, maybe it could lead to something, but I just believe, like I said, the fact that people were finding this even probably before the whole hypercube image was made, and Jason Blundell was saying a lot of players were coming close, should be the main thing that we should be focusing on. Now, I'm going to end this video by recommending you guys check out Glitching Queen's video for the full in-depth analysis breakdown, but I believe that this is a huge turning point for this impossible Easter egg hunt, because this is not outside of Black Ops 3, and 100% it's within Shadows of Evil, The Giant, and Horizondrak, and maybe even potentially there are a multitude of impossible Easter eggs by Blundell. And I do have to say that the reason why I talked to Sky in it and told him that it's unfinished is because Blundell's full vision for zombies was not enacted on because he left Black Ops 4. So I do want people to understand that and recognize that when they're trying to solve the impossible Easter egg.